If you can morally and ethically handle this level of persuasion, you are a good person. And you should definitely check this out, because this is how to write persuasion dripping sales bullets that can sell almost anything in 15 words or less. I'm John Benson, and this is Sales Copy Secrets. Welcome to part one of my series called The Persuasion Challenge. And this series is for beginners, for intermediates, for pros. Intermediates, is that a word? Intermediates. And it is all about ethical persuasion, things that you can do ethically to persuade more people to buy from you. That's what copywriting really is all about. So if you've ever wanted to know how to write sales copy, how to write sales pages, how to write video sales letters, maybe you're an online agency and you want to create strong, powerful messages for your customers and clients, or maybe you just want to sell more online, this is the series that's perfect for you. And let me ask you just two quick favors. Number one, please watch this video all the way to the end. I'm growing this channel. It's taking off pretty fast, but this is a way to tell YouTube that you like the content. And if I earn your like, if I earn your respect by this content and you like it, just thumb it up, leave me a great comment, and possibly even share it with a friend. We're going to kick off the series today with one of my favorite things to talk about, and I'll tell you why. It is the crux, the thing, the starting point for most of the highest converting sales letters and video sales letters ever written. It is sales bullets. So before we dive into the training, let's answer the obvious. What the hell is a sales bullet? Why do they call it a bullet? Well, they call it bullets because it's a rapid fire method of selling using very, very short, conceptually powerful phrases designed to elicit imagination, action, picturing what the results will be like, and some really clever stuff that we're going to cover today that most people have never even seen before. Bullets paint a picture that is impossible for your prospect to ignore. They do that with words, visually painting this picture and putting them into the experience before they ever buy the product or service that you're selling. Bullets don't just sell the thing, they sell the idea. They sell the life after. They sell the feeling of the thing, the dimensionalization of what the user is going to experience after they buy the thing. And by the way, the thing is your product or service. In short, sales bullets are deadly when it comes to closing a sale. Bullets also really evoke curiosity, creating a feeling of, I have to buy this. I don't know what it is even, but I have to have it. A kind of can't live without it mentality that all but forces your prospect to do something, to take action, and usually it means buying your product or service. Now, the bad news is writing sales bullets is probably the highest level of copywriting excellence. The good news is I have a system. And I'm going to reveal that system in this video, so keep watching. So before we dive into that bullet formula that I have, I got to tell you this. You should start your next sales letter or video sales letter or whatever you're wanting to write to sell anything online with bullets or benefits. Bullets or benefits are the two best places to start. Now, benefits I'm going to cover in the next video, so lucky you. But bullets is what John Carlton, one of the most famous copywriters in the world, has always told me and his students that, hey, this is where I start. I start writing out a whole bunch of bullets and let the universe, if you will, take over from there. Now, let me tell you some rules about doing this. You have to turn off your thinking cap a little bit. It sounds strange because bullets are supposed to be really creative and hard to write. That's not what I mean. What I mean is you don't want to censor yourself. Number one mistake people make is they censor themselves. They try to write within compliance. They try to write within, oh, I know I can only provide this and not this. Or they try to limit themselves with how grandiose their claims are. That's not a good exercise for writing bullets. Here's what I want you to do instead. I want you to avoid the two E's that will kill your writing: evidence and editing. Avoid these two like the plague until you're all done with your bullets. Write whatever comes to your mind. Write what would sell you on your product or service, even if it doesn't come with the stuff that you're talking about. And then go back later and either A, provide the stuff that you're talking about now that you know it would sell you, which I've done before. B, provide the evidence it takes to prove the bullets that you have written, or scratch that bullet off, that's fine. And C, edit the terms to be compliant and edit the terms to be better written maybe, but edit after you're done with this process. Does that make sense? You must allow yourself to unlock your creativity first. not after. I wrote an entire book after I wrote the bullets for the sales page. No kidding. And I wrote all these bullets that I didn't even know how I would fulfill. I just wrote what would sell me on the book. And I wrote the book after and actually had to fulfill on those bullets. Now, a few of them I couldn't, so I scratched them off. But I never would have gotten that book out. I never would have made sales on that book if I wouldn't have written the bullets without editing myself. It ended up making me a much better writer. Now, I had to go back and make the bullets compliant. I had to go back and make the bullets true, of course, but I would never have gotten the creative juice that I got without allowing myself the freedom to write whatever I wanted. So that's how you start. Now, there is, like I said earlier, bad news to this, and that is that bullets, I think, require some of the highest level of copywriting sophistication to pull off. However, there's such good news for you today. And that is because I've got a formula. Now, I developed the bullet formula after years of copywriting and going through literally hundreds of different copywriters looking at their bullet structures. I went back to copywriters that were writing copy 100 years ago in newspaper ads because they wrote a lot of bullets in newspaper ads. And I'll tell you why. They had those thin columns. So they had to get a bunch of content into very thin space, and they didn't want to go down the entire page with it. That's one of the reasons sales bullets became kind of what they are today. 15 words or less, usually speaking. You can break that rule occasionally, but that's the genius of old-time copywriters. Let me tell you, they were brilliant at this. And I distilled the formula looking at those guys and looking at a lot of the guys from today and created a formula I'm going to teach you right now to help you with your bullet writing. Ready? Lead, verb, hook, turn, close. I am going to open CopyPro. CopyPro is my artificial intelligence-based copywriting software that is really human-based as well. We're combining the two technologies, and we have taken some of the most historically proven and tested copywriting ever written and put it into a machine, including my own copywriting. So it's like distilling the brain of 50 of the world's greatest copywriters all into your fingertips. Kind of cool. But I'm going to use CopyPro to teach you these 5 steps and to show you examples inside of them, okay? Here we go. So I logged into my CopyPro account, and I'm just going to go down here and select sales bullets. Pretty simple. I'm going to search, and I'm going to select the bullet generator. I'll start my project. I'll call it Bullet Mania, and I'll select my niche. In this case, I'm using my weight loss niche. And within literally, as I'm speaking right here, you can tell, there we go. That's how long it took. CopyPro spat out all these bullets ready for me to go. And they're bullets that I can actually rewrite if I want to. I have now got all these bullets I can play with just in the weight loss space. And they're based off bullets and patterns that are really that same exact thing I'm talking about. Lead, verb, hook, turn, close. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean now. But let's look at a typical bullet. I'll just scroll down here and say, okay, let's look at this one right here. A brand new way you can erase stretch marks without counting calories, starving yourself, exercising daily, or doing well at your favorite foods. Well, that's also a benefit. This is also a benefit formula, very close to a benefit formula. But the things that make it a bullet are the brand new way. Okay, these are patterns we know work, okay, that CopyPro has written for you. So you only have to fill in the blanks. So patterns that we have seen over time work extremely well. Here's another one. The amazing ashwagandha trick that dates back 8,000 years that practically guarantees you lower cortisol and overall inflammation. Page XXX that you would fill in. If it's a book, it'd be page 34. See page 34. So you see how bullets are actually directing the customer to buy the product, to see the rest of it. You'll discover more when you read page 34 is another way of saying that. That's the idea behind bullets. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open the actual creator itself, the bullet generator, and I'm going to show you how this is done from scratch. So we're going to start with the lead. The lead is something that's enticing the reader to immediately their eye wants to immediately go there and read more about it. So you can't say, you can blank, it's just boring that way. So look how much more enticing these leads are. 2 quick tips to finally, 3 clever ways, 3 simple tips. I use numbers. How to quickly, the secret new ways. Should you, a question, right? The 2 most potent ways. You get the idea. These are much more juicy. There's how you like to use. These are much more visceral. Someone can grasp onto these and they want to see more. So I'm just going to choose the one I chose right here. 2 quick tips to finally. So that's going to lead me into this part 2 of this, which is the verb. I simply choose a verb. And remember my lesson on juicy verbs. I want to choose a verb that really jumps out. So rather than say lose or burn or get rid of, I chose obliterate. I chose from this whole list of verbs. I chose obliterate. Then part 3 is the hook. The hook is simply the subject that you're talking about. And that should be sort of a hook, meaning that it should be very interesting to the prospect, something that hooks their attention. In this case, stubborn pockets of fat was my hook. Now, I had to write those 4 words, but of course I know the subject, so I know there's stubborn pockets of fat. Not hard to write that, right? But that's the hook. So now we have 2 quick tips to finally obliterate stubborn pockets of fat. That's pretty cool right there. I could stop there, but I wanted 2 more steps to make that bullet even more deadly, if you know what I mean. So let's go to the next step, the turn. What is the turn? Well, if you ever saw the show The Prestige, one of the best movies I've seen in a long time, awesome film about turn of the century magicians, there's a thing in magic called the turn. And this is somewhat similar, except it's totally not. The turn is simply without, or do it using only something. But you can see how here we are separating ourselves massively from benefits, because benefits wouldn't say, do it using only a pair of tweezers, right? That's more like a bullet. And that's how I want you to be thinking. Do it using only a pair of tweezers. Get something really inquisitive in their minds. Like what on earth are you talking about? This is where the turn helps you do this. So is it bad for you? So that's another turn that you can use. I just simply for this one used without. Very, very simple, without. And without what? The close is the final section, without starving yourself or counting calories. But I included details on page 6. So again, this is how you write kick-ass sales bullets. This simple formula will get you to a lot of bullets. Let's look at another one. Now, this one required a little bit more copywriting finesse, but not much, okay? This is fun. A recently uncovered secret that lets you incinerate, oh, I love that verb, thigh fat in 7 days. So that's my hook, thigh fat in 7 days. Now, what's the turn? Works even if your thighs are the size of sequoia tree trunks, okay? Now, that was the copywriter in me coming out going, yeah, I'm gonna have to elaborate on this a little bit because I want to, but I could have said, works even if you've always hated the look of your thighs. I could have said something that does not have the copywriting juice of your thighs are the size of sequoia tree trunks. But that is how we write copy. So I want to give you some ideas on how to think beyond just the simple words on the page and get a little bit more visualization, but you can't unsee sequoia tree trunks, right? It's really hard to do that. That is the simple formula that I'm using. And I can use that formula to create so many types of sales bullets in any niche or industry, obviously. And now you can too. So I'm going to review the formula once again. Lead, verb, hook, turn, close. That's your simple bullet formula. Okay, coming up in the next video, how to write benefits that sell. Okay, the benefit formula is super simple. And remember, benefits and bullets, very similar to each other, except for what I'm going to cover in the next video, and why I think you may want to start there rather than bullets, unless you have Copy Pro to help you with the bullets, and some other cool tips on how to do it super fast. Okay, and you'll love the formula. It's super easy. It's so much easier than anything I've covered so far. All right, remember to like, share, subscribe below, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. Till next time, I am John Benson, and I want to help you become unignorable.